Okay. Hey, what's going on, y'all? What's happening? Good evening. This your girl Tiffany coming through here live in effect. So tonight I want to talk to you guys because that's something that's been on my mind. And I want to talk about um as a millennial, looking at the current state, looking at the current state of Gen Z. And I want to talk about what happened with these two rappers who I don't really know anything much about. One happened to be a female rapper, and the other one happened to be a male rapper. So the female rapper, her name is daGod, and then the other one, his name is Julio Foolio. Both of them lost their lives to gun violence. So Julio Foolio was out celebrating with friends for his birthday, and he gave out his location. So his ops pulled up on him and executed him. And the young lady, daGod, she had an opening in her hometown in Oakland, California. Okay, she was opening up a beauty salon, I believe, or beauty, I think, was it a beauty supply store? I believe she opened up a beauty supply store, and she was doing a meet and greet, and somebody came up in there and they executed her. Now, as I'm sitting here and I'm just looking at these stories, it makes me think as a millennial. All right, I'm a millennial and I'm in my 30s. We were wild. When I say we, I'm talking about my generation. They was wild back in the 2000s, all the way up to the mid 2000s. They were, they was out there wilding out. You know what I'm saying? But I would say this: I am fortunate, and many of us are fortunate to make it to see our 30s. Whereas a lot of the kids in Gen Z, they're not gonna even make it past 30. For the most part, that's what it looks like. Because a lot of them are overdosing on drugs, getting caught up in gun violence, and the drug culture has really destroyed a lot of their way of thinking. And also with social media being a major hindrance to many of them, they live vicariously through social media. They get on there, you see all this back and forth, dissing one another, right? But so let's talk about um the boy Julio Foolio. So this young man was known for dissing his ops, and he allegedly was caught up in an incident where someone lost their life, right? Allegedly. And he had many attempts on his life. I seen one of his interviews where he said that he know that death is coming around the corner. I mean, when I look at these interviews, I'm just shaking my head because a lot of these kids that are rappers, they get on there and they run their mouth. They saying so. It's like nobody's actually coaching them or teaching them that, hey, when you're doing an interview process, this is what you say and this is what you do not say or do not mention or bring up into the topic of the conversation. No one is coaching them. It's like they get on the interview and they say whatever. And not knowing that these people that are the interviewers, they're going to use the information against them. So these kids go on Vlad TV, DJ Small, No Jumper, and they just say they expose themselves. And the information they're putting out there is used against them. But with this young lady who happened to be a rapper, she did a mixtape bragging about taking her ex-boyfriend's life. She had a cover of him on her mixtape. It was a picture of her and him together. And she was bragging about smoking on her. I forgot what the ex-boyfriend name is, but she was bragging about smoking on him. And I never forget she had an interview where she brought a gravestone with his name on it. Nobody ever told this young lady. I don't know what the circumstances was. I don't know what her situation was. I don't know why she did it. But nobody ever told this young lady, hey, don't you do that. Don't put no album cover with your ex face on there. Don't get on the interviews bragging about what you did to your ex. Nobody ever sat down and warned this girl, hey, it's going to backfire on you. Be careful. That person may have somebody who is very close to them that's watching your every move. I guess, and she served time in prison. She said it was self-defense. But nobody ever told her, or I don't know if anybody sat down with her and said, you cannot put that out there. You can't do it the way you're doing it. You can't be sloppy with it. Because it sounded like to me when she did her mixtape, she was being pretty sloppy. And I'm speculating that the incident that happened in Oakland was the result of her doing the mixtape and her interviews. People, we have to be careful at times. We can speak things into existence. We can speak things into existence and don't even recognize that we put ourselves in danger. So as a millennial, just looking at the Gen Z, I'm just thinking to myself, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And these kids don't want to listen. They don't want to listen. They don't want to hear what we have to say or what anybody else have to say. They don't want to listen. They don't at all. And it's like you can't tell them nothing. You can't say anything to them. But we cannot blame children or rappers like NBA YoungBoy, Julio Foolio, Lil Durk. We can't really blame them because they grew up listening to certain artists and the environments they came from, where they witnessed crime in their neighborhoods. They witnessed people living the street life. We can't blame King Von or Quando Rondo because this is what they grew up to. They grew up listening to music about destruction. And all these people that are the so-called elders, the so-called educators, they're not giving that foundation to these kids the way they need it. They really not. And when they see the hypocrisy, they don't care to listen to what you have to say because they see you living as a hypocrite. But this all ties back to society. It all goes back to how society has imposed various philosophy and ideology to people, to a community of those who come from an environment of people that has been oppressed. Society paints the narratives. And so you got these kids that try to follow the narratives. And they lead themselves down in the path of destruction. All because they want to follow the narrative. And I'm not saying my generation was great because again, my generation was a bunch of rebellious children. You know, so we was angry at our parents, our grandparents, but we was more so angry at our parents. We was angry at society because many of us was born into the crack cocaine era. We was born into the crack cocaine era. We was born into a distorted community. We were born. Many of us was born into a discombobulated household, a dysfunctional environment. So a lot of us grew up angry, and I came from a time where the sound of music was crunk, trap, just to name a few. Excuse me. Yeah, just to name a few. I came up in a time where we was listening to crunk music, trap music. Okay, there was fights in the club, fights on the street corners. Okay, and we were so broken because we saw the destruction that took place with our families and what took place within our communities. We were so broken. So now we pass that trauma down to the next generation, and they're gonna pass the trauma down to that next generation, which is gonna get a lot worse over time. I honestly believe that these two had a chance in life, but because of their poor decision making, it really cost them their own career. It took away their opportunity to actually see what their future could be like. Now, I don't know if they have children of their own, but I do know this. They both were young. They both were young and making careless decisions. And they thought because of the things they were doing and saying they was going to be able to get away with it. They was going to get away with doing certain things without any type of repercussion. So for me as a millennial, it is very painful and it's hurtful to look at this generation It's even hard for me to support the music that's out today. I can't really support the R&B music. I can't even support the rap music as much. I mean, man, it's really painful, and I hate to say that it's gonna be more and more rappers losing their lives. It's gonna be more and more rappers losing their lives out here due to violence, and it's been like that for the past 7 years. A lot of rappers just dropping, dropping like flies, or they either going to prison. They currently on trial. You see the situation with Young Thug, Kodak Black. Mm-mm. However, that's all the thoughts that I have. I really don't have anything else to say or really speak on, but I just wanted to share my thoughts on this whole situation that happened with these two rappers and what I just think about this generation as a person that comes from another previous generation, which is the millennial. So I'm pretty much done, but I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And I thank you guys for tuning in, watching. So make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, share the channel. And until next time, peace and power elevation. This your girl Tiffany, and I'm out. All right.